All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into game number 2. It's actually FXO Whale up against Empire Happy. Let's go into it. We have a Terran versus Zerg on Odyssey.
Yep, and we do have in the bottom right-hand location the blue Zerg player, FXO Whale, and his opponent in the middle left-hand location, the yellow Terran player, Happy from Team Empire. And should be interesting. TVZ on this map. I feel like it's relatively balanced.
I agree.
You know, the expansions kind of get closer to your opponent a little bit, so it might be a little bit iffy for the Zerg player. But there's a lot of counterattack paths on this map, and there's a lot of ways to abuse chokes and whatnot as a Terran player in high ground. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out.
You know, I like this in particular just because now with the Broodlord change, it's actually going to halt Terrans a lot more. They have to prepare a little bit more. The tech change has to be a lot earlier. And what that basically means, when you can't go mass ghosts, ghosts are actually really mobile.
Yeah.
Because they can move around. You don't have to worry about, you know, getting fungled because it's like pew pew or EMP and you're good to go. But with Vikings, you kind of have to make sure they're always in like a spread out type of formation. You can't get them fungled, because if you get those fungled, you are screwed. Then those Broodlords are super empowered. So I like how the change has actually affected this map, because basically what you see, in my opinion, is third bases, really fast hive tech. You go into those Broodlords, slow down the Terran, and then you start getting your fourth base, your fifth base, your sixth base. Of course, it could stay on the Muta, Zergling, Baneling, but I think, you know, the new hive tech type of, you know, formula is a lot better at, you know, at playing out this matchup than otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's a very new change. So if you're going to start asking me about the metagame of late game TVZ right now, you know, I won't have, you know, 100% secure answer because it just changed and Terrans are trying to figure that out. I'm actually interested in hearing your thoughts. Do you think it's going to be more mech heavy now for Terrans, or are we going to see more drop play maybe to try to abuse the lack of mobility of the Broodlords? Well, what is TVZ late game going to turn into? Yeah,
you know, I've been actually thinking about this a lot. I've spent several hours just thinking how TVZ is going to change, because that's what the patch basically did. It changed endgame TVZ quite drastically.
Yeah.
And mid-game, I should say that, because now infestors aren't nearly as strong, because I can double snipe a lot, you know, a lot easier. That's what it comes down to. I mean, I can easily smash, you know, any form of infestor count with just very simple double snipes. So I don't know. It's hard to tell at this point. I'm not sure completely how I love, or if I even love it. But you know, I'm not going to say anything before I look at more data. But for now, we have kind of an interesting build coming out from Happy. He did do, I do believe, a gas first. Is that? I think he did a gas first, because I saw him actually. Well, maybe not. It's really hard to tell, because he went Orbital Command Center on 14, and then he put the factory down, and then put the second supply depot down. So I'm really confused about his build right now.
It's relatively nicely timed. It seemed like right when the factory finished, he had 100. Or wait a second, he does have a lot of gas right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is weird. He has a lot of gas. He's not using it. Maybe saving for siege tanks and siege mode. It's a possibility.
I don't know.
Getting 2 more Hellions too. This is interesting. Usually you don't get this much gas and not use it. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. But anyway, in the Zerg side of things, putting on a spine crawler is Whale. Hasn't taken a gas just yet. Not terribly surprising. Again, Zerg players love prioritizing those minerals, those drones, and queens and expansions. We'll have to see what he does from here, though.
Yeah, I like where Whale is right now. And yes, I'm going to say his name just like that the whole entire time. Whale. Because that's actually the correct English pronunciation of it. Did you know that?
Who decides that?
I don't know. The people that made English?
Well,
dude, check it out in the dictionary. Did you not? Ooh, playing a little bit bold here, Happy. He's going to push in here. Roast about 5 drones, excuse me.
Wow.
I think that's a total of 5. He did get a couple of drone kills with his Marines at the beginning stage. But very nice done. Very nice done. Very nice job done by Happy with that little run by. He's going to add 2 more Hellions to the pack. And will he actually go in again? This is so bold.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I mean, if he gets the kills, it's worth it. He's roasting a bunch of drones there and just getting out of there, I'd assume, yeah. So only losing one Hellion there. Might send 2 of those back to get healed up or repaired. But yeah, it's a little bit weird. Whale not really attempting to wall off that natural at all. Usually you'll see him put down an evolution chamber, maybe a second spine crawler to prevent the Hellion run by from happening, and Happy, recognizing that fact, abusing it. And behind this, putting down 2 command centers. Still has a ton of gas. So I still don't know what to make. I don't know if that's a mistake, but I hate saying pro players made a mistake, but you shouldn't have this much gas.
No, I mean, it's completely fine.
He's been floating 200 for the past 5 minutes, so I don't know.
No, he definitely did make a mistake there, in my opinion. I think it's completely fine to say they made a mistake. In every sport you say mistakes happen.
Yep.
Especially in football.
Football? Which one?
Football. Soccer.
Ah.
Yeah.
I see.
Dude, if you miss a penalty shot, that's a mistake, man. that's just how it comes down to, man. That's what it is. But
I'm trying to think about that.
You know,
I don't know, man. That's some deep. That's a deep analogy. I don't know if I agree with that one, but who knows?
If
it's difficult, like a penalty shot, that's freaking hard, isn't it?
Well,
to certain people, and then you get into relativity. It's like, okay, is it easy for certain people? Or some people, like, should they have to make it? Whereas other people, like, they're pretty bad, so it's okay if they miss. I don't know.
I forgot where it was. Maybe it was something like, I can't remember, but it was like the World Cup, and there was a really, really big penalty shoot off, and someone missed it, and then they ultimately got death threats. They got a lot of, just they got harassed all over the place, and then ultimately someone killed them at a bar.
No.
Yes. It was in a South American country.
Jeez.
So it's pretty hardcore.
That's like, so you're saying if you
make a mistake, you deserve to die.
Screw up an engagement in StarCraft 2?
No, of course not. But that's how zealous some people are about soccer, man.
It's crazy.
It just is. They're very passionate. Very passionate. But here we see a couple of Zerglings. They're going to be pushing out here and catching 3 Hellions. 1 Hellion, rather. It looks like these Hellions are able to roast a lot more Zerglings than I think should have happened.
Yeah. Happy's been doing a good job here, not letting that third go down. I mean, I feel like we're about the time where the Zerg player start thinking about getting a third. The layer is almost done, so might go into Spire. He does have a bunch of gas saved up, but it's okay, for Zerg players to save that gas, because right when a Spire finishes, they can make, like 20 Mutalisks, and then you start thinking about, the timings that exploit how much gas a Zerg has to try to abuse the fact that they don't have as many units on the field because they're saving up for these units. But in any case, Happy not yet moving that third command center over to its proper location, just building a nice wall up outside of his natural expansions, his supply depots in a bunker. Really cool play thus far from him, and a relatively standard game so far.
Yeah, I like what Whale is doing at this point. He is going for the Infestor double upgrades. I think that aligns up very nicely with the fast hive play that I kind of theorized Zerg should be doing in this early game stage. So obviously getting the Infestors, it allows you to get that hive really quickly. No, it doesn't have the mobility like mutas do, but it gets you to a nice unit composition at that in-game stage pretty early. You can probably get Broodlords around 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And with the, double evolution chambers, you have these really supercharged Zerglings. You can actually do a ton of damage with them. And on top of that, you have the Infestors to help out quite a bit. So we do see a push coming out from the Terran at this point. The Zerglings are trying to counterattack, but there is a single bunker with those supply depots. As you were saying, Axel, we'll see if this drop or this harassment does anything, this semi-push, because it is looking like it will force the hatchery cancel if Whale doesn't do anything in time.
Yeah, this is a really good timing. I actually just mentioned this timing. Look at all the gas from Whale. He has 1,000. You're like, oh, that's a mistake. Well, it's really not. He's saving up for Infestors right now. Pathogen Gland's about to finish. I'm not sure why he hasn't started any Infestors. Oh, supply block.
Oh,
that's no good at all. The Link's coming forward, trying to get us around on this army. But, yeah, Happy's just going to lift up and get out of there. But mission accomplished for him. Sure, he lost a large majority of his army, but he prevented that third from going down. Supply blocked his opponent.
I want to actually
scare the crap out of him too.
I want to actually say that I think Whale got the better end out of that. The main reason it's you're killing, you know, of course, the hatchery that wants to go down a lot sooner. But if you think about how many siege tanks he lost there, you actually want to keep your siege tanks as much as possible, because now it forces the Terran to remake siege tanks, and that's a lot of gas. When you're only on 4 gas at this period in time, getting double upgrades, you actually want to be getting ghosts at this point, and you just can't. There's no way he can. And with the infestors on the field, if you look at relative gas counts, all Whale put into this was straight up minerals, just Zerglings, right? He did get the upgrades, but they apply all over the place. So it's just minerals. In terms of gas, the gas advantage actually goes heavily towards Whale at this point, and that's going to give him the big advantage, especially with these infestors out in the field. They're going to be able to shut down these drops a lot easier if if Whale can actually identify these gas.
The infestors need to come forward to save this hatchery, or it will go down, but they're just chilling at the natural expansion. And if this hatchery is canceled,
this shouldn't happen.
Okay, and that's denied once again. And you know,
nice.
Now you can't go this long. Nice volume growth, but like this long for a third, you need those gases. You need that fifth and sixth gas right now as a Zerg player. Because late game, as a Zerg player, you need gas is so important. You see Zerg players just take expansions just for the gases. And look at this, he's going up to Broodlords, but he's only at about 600 gas. So, you know, how many Corruptors? Like, is that 2 Corruptors and 2 Broodlords? My math is pretty darn terrible right now. But he does have a lot of links in the field, so we'll have to see if Happy can just like shut down any counterattack or any offensives from the Zerg player.
For sure. You can see a Planetary Fortress is plopped down over there in the top middle position, so that's going to be safe against any form of Zergling attacks, especially with the support of all those siege tanks, all those Marines. At this point, going to Broodlords, obviously, as we were talking about, it really shuts down the mobility of the Terran. It enables the Zerg to actually expand a lot more aggressive. I think with all the trades that have happened, actually a big attack going in the front over here. I missed it, but a lot of Infested Terrans are going to pop out here. Infested Terrans aren't the best without upgrades, but they still are enough. You can see just so plentiful. Kill a lot of siege tanks over here, and investing, you know, in time over minerals is always good. Now another round of units are going to come in here. Zerglings streaming forward, and oh my goodness, Happy is in a terrible position. These Zerglings are at 2-2. Their 3-3 is being researched as we speak, and look at that, the bunker is actually going down. Zerglings are going to prevail, and this natural is under serious threat.
Yeah, Happy needs his Marines to get up here and help. There we go. Finally moving them up there. But the Ling's getting to the natural expansion. Probably going to try to get some SCV kills here. If Emil is brave enough, might try to take down Emil. But Emil is not going to be dropped from Happy. And he will end up cleaning this up. Ling's trying to go into the third of Happy, but a Planetary Fortress is there. And just now, Whale's third is finishing, saturating that gas incredibly fast. 5 Corruptors on the way. Greater Spire on the way. I thought that already finished. I guess it didn't. Greater Spire about 90% of the way done. So Whale's gonna start going into Broodlord production. Happy doesn't have that supply lead, but I feel like I don't know. He lost a lot of units there.
No, I agree.
I don't know. The Zerg player is about to get Broodlords out, and that's really darn scary. Happy's trying to get his ground army, back up and looking nice, but he does have his second starport on the field, I think. So Vikings will, yes, there is. So he's going to start getting a lot of Vikings on the field. It looks like he does know about this Broodlord tech. He has 3 Vikings in the air. Okay, he did scout the Hive and the Greater, or he did scan the Hive and Greater Spire, so knows exactly what's going on. Happy's in a good situation here. I feel like it's definitely not as bad as it looks for him. I mean, we saw the Zerglings get into the natural and start, poking away at SCVs. Whenever that happens, you kind of get scared. But Happy's not in a bad situation at all. At the same time, there is a drop going toward the 4th base of Whale. We'll have to see if that does anything. Man.
I kind of like the Zerg's position. Whale, I think, is in a much better position at this point. Happy, he's by no means out of it, but the fact that Broodlords are on the field, the 4th is coming up here, the 7th and 8th gases are approaching. It's very scary, and with the upgrades 3-3 against 2-2, these Zerglings are again going to be supercharged. The army composition, of course, there are Vikings out in the field, but you still need those ghosts, because right now those infestors are very powerful against the army composition of Terran.
Yep.
Unfortunately, time and time again you see that Whale is consistently out of position, and he's allowing the Terran to get into these beautiful spots where there's no creep on it, and there are no units actually intercepting before the siege tanks actually siege up. So it's really hurting Whale so much to the point where he's allowing his opponent to get in this game, where honestly he has like an end game composition, and Happy doesn't have anything close to that.
It's Happy keeps denying his expansions, and that's just making it a bad situation for Whale. He does have a lot of Broodlords in the air, but again, there are those Vikings on the ground. What Happy has to make sure he does here, just keep denying that expansion. That's a good thing. I think he feels like, mission accomplished. Once again, he's just going to back right up. But he has to make sure he splits up his army. He doesn't want to get fungled. Wants to make sure he keeps his tanks leapfrogging, I guess is the best way to describe it, and keep those Vikings split up so the infestors aren't cost efficient from Whale. Because if those infestors get off some nice fungal growths, there's not much Happy can do. So again, no ghosts in this army to throw on EMPs. But yeah, it looks like Happy is just looking for additional expansions from the Zergs and just keep trying to deny those while getting up expansions of his own.
See that medevac drop gets cleaned up. The 4th base is being taken. Planetary Fortress will go down on that momentarily. Now the big question is, where does Whale go from here? We need him to actually start attacking. He's at 152 supply. Of course, he's trying to expand to that 4th base. What's killing him, in my opinion, is the fact that he doesn't have any static defense. I think static defense would help him out a lot because Broodlord's not so mobile. Of course, you don't want to feed Zerglings into just mass Marines and things like that, so that will be a big problem. So at this point, I feel like, Happy does, he's in a good position. He basically says, it's your move, Zerg, because if we're at equal bases, then I'm going to win this game. But, does Whale actually have the ability to take care of this army composition?
Yeah, he has a lot of corruptors in the air. I guess going to try to deal with the Vikings in that regard. Happy sieging up those tanks, which is a questionable decision considering the Broodlords are on the field. Nice fungal ghost there coming down from Whale, and that's exactly what Happy didn't want to have happen.
And you can see everything just getting cleaned up so easily. Vikings are able to be dealt with very easily with the power of those fungal growths and just locking them in place with the corruptors. You can chase them down very easily, and all of a sudden you're in a great position. You can see the Broodlords are just going to town on this one planetary fortress. Thankfully for Terran, you can actually just auto repair all your SCVs, and your planetary fortress is fine. And that actually buys you a lot of time if you don't actually DPS this down fast enough. So a little bit of a problem right there, but you can see that these Banelings, the Zerglings, they're gearing up, ready to take out that 4th base. And if Happy doesn't do some sort of counterattack to the Zerg's 4th base, he might be in a situation where now all of a sudden he is the one that needs to go to his opponent's base. He's the one that needs to do a lot of damage. That would be very bad.
Yeah, I mean, like in the past minute, Happy hasn't been attacking with these Vikings. Finally now deciding to do that, attacking with 2 Vikings. That's what you need to do, attack with 1 Viking at a time. Once the Corruptors come forward, back up, let your Marines do damage. But it looks like this Planetary Fortress desperately trying to stay alive. But
Marines.
It looks like the DPS...
Nice fungal dodge, I should say, and the Viking is going to be taken out very easily. You see that Marines alone are just not able to do the damage. Siege tanks are going to fire upon each other, so a lot of friendly fire is affecting the Terran army. You can see the Broodlords are finally being cleaned up over here. There's no more fungal growth energy, unfortunately, for Whale, and finally Whale gets cleaned up. So well done by Happy. He's going to keep his 4th alive. But after that, let's go ahead and look at the units lost tab. It looks like Zerg has lost more resources than his opponent, but the 5th base is up. So pretty good trade so far, I think, by Whale. He just needs to keep it up and make sure that he can retain his bases as best as possible.
Yeah, his 3rd right now is like grossly oversaturated. He needs to transfer some of those drones over to his 4th, or even his 5th, which is just not saturated at all. And Happy scanning down that expansion on the left side of the map, going to go try and deny that. Scanning forward to see where his opponent's army is. And Whale's army, he has 6 Broodlords morphing in, a lot of Lings on the ground, but Happy getting a lot of Vikings on the field. That's going to help a lot. And where are the infestors? I only see there's 4 in the production tab. Those infestors are key in this unit comp from the Zerg player. Yeah,
there are none on the field, so those 4 infestors are going to be the only thing they have to pop out here quick, because these Marines and siege tanks are moving down here, and this should not happen at all. I mean, Whale is really crumbling at this point, as he's probably going to lose his fourth base. And yeah, there it goes. The Zerglings are going to clean up a lot of this stuff. Gridlings are going to pop out here as well to help out with the damage, but still, losing that fourth base is pretty critical. And at this point, there's only one mining base for Whale, where there's two mining bases out for Happy, although this third one is mining out pretty quickly. So it's going to be a pretty scrappy game at this point. All Happy has to do at this point is actually secure his fourth base, make sure that doesn't go down, and as soon as, you know, the damage is trying to be done, I mean, he can just max the 200, then push, knowing that his opponent can't max that fast. You can see he's only at 126 supply. He can't max that fast because he's only on one mining base.
Yeah, and it would almost be worth it at this point. He has an orbital command in his main that hasn't been used the entire game. You know, try to find an expansion to put that at, maybe. But then again, you kind of need planetary fortresses at all these extra bases, considering you're so much closer to the Zerg opponent. But yeah, Happy, like, he's starving minerals right now. That's what he needs. He has plenty of gas. So I really think, like, Happy's in a very strong position. Again, Whale just now trying to take that fourth again. But Happy doing a really good job of denying those additional expansions from the Zerg player. But here we go again. Whale coming forward with a pretty scary looking death ball. And again, it will come down to how Happy micros this. He has to keep his units spread out. He has to. He can't lose all those units to fungal growth like he did in the last big engagement. So we'll have to keep an eye on Happy's control as a drop is going forward towards his fourth, denying that again, and Happy playing this so well right now.
Here we go. The big engagement has started over here. There are queens over. Where do they go? The queens are actually in front. They need to concentrate on transfusing those broodlords. See, Zerglings are going to push forward. Fungal growth goes down. Where are the corruptors? No corruptors out in the field, and this is going to be detrimental in this battle. Now you can see the broodlords just die so fast. The 4 broodlords remaining. A lot of fungal growth going down at this point, but there are a ton of medevacs as well. The Vikings are very, very well equipped to take care of this army composition. There you have it. Happy is going to come up in this battle, and very unfortunate for Whale. He's going to drop down to, it looks like, 71 supply, whereas Happy's at 150. Additional Marines will be spewing out here in a moment, but Happy takes a decisive advantage in that battle. Let's go ahead and look at the units lost tab. It is sitting at 31,206 for the Zerg player. That's the resources lost, I should say. 26,000, only 26,610 for the Terran. So he's looking in a great position. And I think if the Terran just asserts himself a little bit, goes ahead and takes out that fourth yet again, he's in a great position. There's no denying it. That Terran is way ahead in this game, and it looks like Happy is just going to close out and take the W for Team Empire, putting them up again 2-0.
Yeah, there's nothing much Whale can do against this army. You know, all those Vikings in the air, you can't really make any corruptors or broodlords because they will die. But then again, how do you deal with the Marines on the ground? Get some banelings, I guess, but there are tanks here that can siege up. But he's trying. Whale's, he's not going to GG, too soon. He's going to try to win this game, but this might be the last game.
Yeah, it should be GG right here, as his fourth base cannot be defended. You can see the Marines are enough to actually take out the corruptors, let alone the Vikings over here. But this is going to do it. I mean, there's no possible way that Whale can actually get into this, but very well played, I have to say, by Happy. There it is, GG. We have ourselves 2-0 for Team Empire, so congratulations to them. I think probably one of the most the biggest mistake I saw was the first engagement on that planetary fortress with all those broodlords. He actually was way ahead in the units lost tab. If you check back there, if you check out the replay, he was way ahead, and then he just let his army stay there and let the Terran build up, and he didn't reinforce. And you need additional infestors, you need broodlords, you need corruptors over there to help out, because let me tell you, if you have broodlord, corruptor, infestor, Zergling against Marine, siege tank, Viking, the Zerg's going to win almost 100% of the time if it's controlled right. And you saw the Zerg win those battles, but what happened was the Terran was reinforcing, the Zerg was not. There's the critical mistake right there. Obviously losing a majority of your units and then not being able to defend your fourth was probably the most blowing thing to the Zerg's economy, which ultimately affected his endgame stage and how many units he had.
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout the game, Happy was just really proactive about denying additional expansions from his Zerg opponent, and that's what you have to do. If you can do that, if you can continually deny expansions, I guess, from any opponent, any matchup, if you can do that while getting your own expansions up, you're going to be in a good situation. And I think Happy made that a priority in this game. I mean, it helped him in the long run, and it's going to help his team as Empire is up 2-0.
Yep. So we're going to go into game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more games at you.